and A, B and C, D and E. But if C and E are played together, we have a combination of sounds that appeals to our consciousness as pleasant. These two are harmonious, or produce a harmony. C and E represents the first and third notes of the octave. So they represent a third in musical principle. If C and E, C and F are played, it is not so pleasing or harmonious. But if we skip one more note to G, we again have a harmonious tone, because they are each a third apart. Third apart from here, a third apart. So that number 3 again. The same is true in regards to colors. Let's see if you skip there. Okay. The same is true in regard to color. Colors are related to sounds, even as to one another. They are complementary, opposites, or harmonious. Hospitals and insane asylums have experimented with music and found that certain tunes and rhythms would quiet patients when all else failed, and that certain types of music would excite and irritate them. An experiment with plants. When jazz, classical, and popular music were played, the plants grew rapidly and leaned toward the music, whereas almost identical plants used with harsh music being played, the plants were stunted in growth and leaned away from the music. The human body is sensitive to external influences to a greater degree than most of us realize. Each human being has a dominant note, and somewhere in the lower octaves of the musical scale there is a complementary or harmonic relative which affects the higher one because of this sympathetic attunement. There is too a complementary notes or overtones, like you have here.
Oh, could you just go back, please?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I picked up the wrong thing. Like you have.
I'm just zooming in for them.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know.
Mm.
Even though we can see it clearly here, the viewers won't be able to. So it's still going to be hard. How are you going to zoom in?
All right. Each vertebrae responds to a particular note in the musical scale. And it affects the, what do you call it now? That which leaves the sympathetic going to the, to a organ. The sound travels and affects through the organs of the body. So we as human beings have not only a dominant note to our consciousness, but several less dominant notes that form a dominant chord. This chord is a very subtle thing, and in each person is different. To better understand this, let us take a closer look at the vertebrae in this slide.
Let me just zoom in. This was the one we looked at before.
Yeah, it's the same.
Alright.
No, that's not the one, I don't think. Okay. On the left, oh no, that was back here. Okay. On the left is a diagram of the anterior or front of the spinal column, branching out on each side. The line branching out on each side of the vertebrae are lines representing the spinal nerve. Underneath Underneath each spinal nerve are two nerves connecting the spinal column. You can't see it too well. Oh, you hear it.
Well, just let me know where you want to zoom in at.
These two are connected. Those two little lines going underneath the line going across. Underneath each spinal nerve are two nerves connecting the spinal nerve with the sympathetic nervous system. Let me see if I got it right now. Okay. Connecting the spinal nerve with the nervous system. That's the straight line going across, and the two lines right here connecting the spinal, and then all of a sudden the one going out to the different various organs. Two nerves connecting the spinal nerve with the sympathetic nervous system, and then branching out with the plexus on the end, connecting with a vessel. This is a vessel. Right here. Okay, 70. Nope. Let me see. You also see to the right. Okay, not there yet. We also see to the right of the spinal column, starting at the top, a nerve note. Okay. And a music note. Nerve note, music note.
I'm going to zoom in just a minute.
That's right. To the right of the spinal, there's a nerve note and a music note.
An octane?
For each of the spinal nerves between the vertebrae. Certain musical notes and chords of the musical scale, as well as colors, will arouse certain connections of the sympathetic and parasympathetic division into special activity, and thereby cause the energy of these nerves to function more freely and completely. There was in ancient times a branch of the mystery school of Egypt existing in Greece called the Therapeutae, who knew of these laws and applied them in their everyday living. Pregnant women of the order knew the effects of music, color, poetry, etc. on the growing fetus, something that we now calling prenatal influences. Therefore they listened to beautiful music, they walked in beautiful gardens, and held thoughts of the highest good in their minds. Everything had to be of the highest good. This is the reason why so many great minds came out of Greece. The name of the order of modern times, which perpetuates the tradition and carries the lineage of the ancient mystery schools of Egypt, is the Confraternity of the Rose Cross. It is a worldwide fraternity. Its study includes such science as physics, chemistry, biology, physiology, and psychology. It expounds a system of metaphysical and physical philosophy intended to awaken the dormant, latent faculties of the individual, whereby he or she may utilize to a better advantage his or her natural talents and lead a happier and more useful life. Its study includes such topics as the mysteries of time and space, the human consciousness, the nature of matter, perfecting the physical body, the effect of light, color, and sound upon mind and body. The member is taught the significance and application of the cosmic and natural laws which are found manifest in the universe around him and in himself. Those interested in pursuing personal study in the Confraternity of the Rose Cross, all they have to do is look it up on the computer, and find out how they might, if they're interested, look into, if they want to join, look into it. That's, I think, the end. Yes, that's the end. That's the end of it.
Oh, that's the end of the lecture.
Yeah. That's just showing the.
Oh, let's look at this. I'm going to zoom in for our viewers.
Yeah.
You could describe it as
Yeah, that's the sympathetic nervous system.
All right.
Connected to the spinal.
I'm zooming in on the upper right-hand side.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have the eye.
The sympathetic connected to the spinal nervous system. Here there are certain connections here that connect with this, and it goes out to the various parts of the body. Like for instance, if the stomach is ailing, and a person understands and knows this, he can apply his thumb and first two fingers, if he knows how to increase the energy, if he's healthy, and that energy will go directly to the area. There are some doctors who I am sure who are members of the order, they use these principles. Some. I think I know of one who does. And here is the school, the ancient school, where Pythagoras, Solomon, Solon, Socrates, many of the great minds of that time, if they were accepted, they had to be tested and tried. If they were accepted, they would go into these chambers and study the laws of the universe. When they got to a certain point, they had learned what they were supposed to learn, they would leave that area and go back to their respective countries and form an organization that would be connected with that and accept members into that group that would be taught the same thing that they were taught. This is why even the great master Jesus was there. And he also said in the Bible, there will be others that can do the same thing that I can do and even greater. Showing he was a learned person. And anybody can learn these things. They just have to apply themselves. Find the correct order to get into and apply themselves to the study. That ends it.
You can turn on the pyramid.
Oh.
The first slide.
Here we go, we're getting there. Oh. That one on you?
The other one. The one before? Yeah. So,
That
I mean, it's an interesting episode we've had.
I hope it was interesting. I hope so.
Any final thoughts that you want to put on it?
No, the next, being that I mentioned the Rosicrucians, and many don't know anything about it, or have heard negative things, I will give a brief history of the order and the changes it had to go through, which has happened throughout the centuries. The order always goes through a cyclic change, what they call cyclic change or cyclic change. And I'll read on that, because I've been a member now for 53 years, into my 53rd year, and the order is a marvelous, marvelous, marvelous order. But you have to apply yourself to the teachings. It's not hard, it's not long, but you have to apply yourself. If you become a member, you have to apply yourself. That means doing your experiments, doing your exercises, because they don't want you to believe in anything they say. They don't want you to believe in anything they say.
Do you believe these teachings were, from the Great Triangles created by UFOs? Not UFOs, but extraterrestrials.
I look back and think about it, and I think this is something that's been handed to earthly people who were earthly people who were prepared for this. I think now, only time will tell, that beings of a higher nature came to this planet giving the knowledge that you see here that was presented, and there's a lot more, to a particular group that was trained, prepared, and ready to receive that knowledge. That knowledge has been passed down throughout the centuries. For instance, You have the Buddha, you have the Socrates, you have the Platos, you have the Jesus, and all these great beings who some sources say that they are incarnations of a higher realm. They come from another system. Some say that they lived here one time and progressed. This is like, say, elementary school. They graduated and went on to higher source. They came back with their knowledge to help uplift mankind. So they brought this knowledge here, and it's still here. It's still here.
Well, with that, that'll wrap up episode number 17. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I hope so too.
And as always, we appreciate any comments you guys want to leave. Please subscribe. Email our videos out to others, or word of mouth. Tell people. And yep, that's it. So until next time, we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.
Take care.